Solicitor's Office has, along with SLED, they have concluded their investigation, and they will be making a ruling either later today or tomorrow. The family will be conducting an independent investigation, irrespective of what the Solicitor's Office conclusions will be, either today or tomorrow. And as I said earlier, it was painful to watch. Some of the things that we have seen, especially coming from the coroner's office, that is kind of troubling to us is that we know that Jason, one of those shots was in the back. That one kind of troubles us a little bit, and we're definitely going to pursue our own independent investigation because we still don't have a full understanding of what happened that night, even though we were able to look at the video and listen to the audio that we had been waiting on for over a month now, or 2 months. So we appreciate the Solicitor's Office allowing us to come down before he released that information to the public. We thank him for that, but we are going to push forward in trying to come up with our own conclusion and our own answers to what happened that night. And so the family, I think, at this time, we're just going to push forward and try to come up with some answers. And yes.
The investigation also mentioned that there were weapons in the car, there were drugs in the car, and the officers also mentioned the criminal record.
Right.
Because of the crime in that area, that's why they stepped up patrols, and this was the dragnet of sorts that Jason was caught up in.
Right.
Any comment on the evidence that was found in the car, the guns, the weapons, his criminal history, anything of that nature?
Well, I will tell you this, and I think the family they're very clear on this. Jason had a drug addiction. There's no qualms about that. And his drug addiction led up to some of the criminal activities that he was involved in. It led up to some of the arrests. It led up to him going to prison. And the family has been very open about that. They wanted to get him some help. The area that he was in, it has been labeled as a high crime area. There's no qualms about that. What I would ask everyone to do is, for one, there was a weapon in the car, but I would challenge media to do this. Let's find out, was Jason's fingerprints on that weapon? And I think it's easy to answer that question since the investigation is over. Let's find out exactly whose DNA was on that weapon. I think we kind of know. We kind of know the answer to that, but I want the media to put that out there. Find out exactly whose fingerprints was on the weapon, find out whose DNA was on that weapon, and then you tell me, should Jason have been shot? And so that's the problem we have with that. And look at how quick this escalated to him being shot, or to the deputy shooting.
2.5 minutes.
If you remember, Sheriff Lewis, he came out and said that it was either his deputies shoot and kill Jason, or they were going to go to the morgue. But if you look at the video, and now we have audio, I don't see where that happened. I don't see Jason pointing a gun. If you listen to the audio, you don't hear a deputy say, put down the gun. This is and of course Jason wouldn't have been allowed to have a gun, but they didn't know who he was. So this is a state that you're allowed to have a concealed weapon. So why did you shoot in the car? We need to get to that. I think it was just escalated way too fast, and that's what we need to find out, so this will never happen again. I do not, and the family would not want an officer to get harmed, of course not. And if that needed to happen, you know, they are willing to accept the fact that that needed to happen. But at this point, I don't see where his life needed to be taken.
And was that confirmed by the audio that you heard today?
We don't see anything on that audio that would have led up to him being shot and killed.
Nothing.
What's your next step?
Well, we're going to definitely conduct an independent investigation of our own, and then take whatever necessary steps we can to remedy this. It's going to be kind of difficult because we kind of see where the solicitor's going to head with this. It's going to be difficult to get around that, but we're going to keep pushing forward. Well, I mean, in this county, I don't think we have ever seen an officer involved shooting where an officer has been charged. It may have happened. I don't remember it ever happening. There may be a case where an officer has been charged that has shot and killed someone. I can't think of a case, not recently, when that has happened. I don't see it. I don't see this particular solicitor going outside that norm. So I just don't see that happening. And so it's almost like it's a taboo issue to do that. And but from what we've seen, I do not see where Jason should have been shot and killed. What I see is that this escalated in less than a minute, and this young man was shot and killed. So I think, you know, everything needs to be reevaluated in this whole case. And I think the biggest thing is we need to go back to our sheriff and say, hey, what type of training are these deputies receiving? I think that's the biggest issue.
Yes.
We need to address training. We cannot get Jason back. We can't change what happened that night, but we need to make sure it doesn't happen again. And so
To a citizen or an officer.
right, and that's the biggest thing. This family is not saying, hey, Jason was, you know, he was a choir boy. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying is that we need to make sure it doesn't happen again, and what can we do? If we can take this case and make sure that it never happens again, make sure that someone like Jason is not killed, make sure that an officer is not put in harm, then let's do it. Let's talk about training. Let's talk about how these...
And done with respect and not homing. That's what they're referring to in the video, as homing.
And I think when the audio, or I guess it's a whole video with audio, is released to you guys, you'll kind of see what she's talking about. I think the deputies have lost some of their ability to speak to a suspect, and some of the language they're using with him is...
And maybe it wouldn't have been disrespectful had he still been alive too, you know? But with him being dead, that's kind of disrespectful.
Was that most trouble? What was obviously the most troubling part of the video? I know you can't talk specifics, but when you watched it, what affected you?
The whole thing.
From beginning to end?
What, 3 minutes?
Had you spoken to Jason that day when this happened? When was the last time you spoke to him?
Monday before it was Saturday.
What was that last conversation like?
Okay, so we'll leave it at that. And like I said, we will be doing or conducting our own review of this and see if we can't find a way to make sure that this never happens again. That's what it's about. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
When you say we, I know that you refer to the family, but you want to...
Well, fighting injustice together will definitely help this family try to get to the bottom of this.
Are you going to bring in like outside forensics people, or?
We're going to do the best we can to investigate this the best we can. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you so much. Okay, y'all be strong. Go ahead. Okay. Who else got it? Is that it? Oh, is that what you're trying to choke me?
Trying